great hope is that now these little 8mm video recorders and stuff are coming out. Some just people who normally wouldn't make movies are going to be making them. And, you know, suddenly one day some little fat girl in Ohio is going to be the new Mozart, you know, and make a beautiful film with her little father's camera recorder. And once the so-called professionalism about movies will be destroyed.
Yeah, just that.
Yeah, Donald, that was really insightful of you.
Yeah.
That was insightful for me? Am I supposed to use the 5mm?
Of you.
Of me?
The bit was that you said all that.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to trample on Chris.
Do the voice, like, bring up the voice, I'll try and impersonate.
No, just do it from memory.
Okay. Yeah, I guess my one hope is that with these 5mm 5mm cameras that some little girl will want to take the professionalism of movies and maybe catch her dad on a lucky day, something like that. So
couldn't have said it better myself.
And that man made The Godfather.
Really?
Yeah, that's Francis Ford Coppola. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I just know the whole intro by heart, so remember that.
That did not sound like the intro.
Yes, I won.
All right, what's this sound like? What's that?
You've gotten better at it.
I wasn't paying attention. I just remembered I ordered food and it's been sitting on our porch for like 25 minutes.
That's why the light came on?
Eating Soup Alone is a podcast hosted by me, Christopher Crumley, and co-hosted by Nicholas Johnson. We try our best to ramble incoherently about a handful of movies at least once a week. Do you know what it was? Should I do it again?
Oh, yeah, I was not paying attention. Do it again.
Ding!
Do you know what that is? If you don't, let me give it a try.
Go for it.
Are you ready?
I have no idea.
I definitely got worse and you got better.
La, da, na, na, la, 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 ding! Da, la, 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 ding! Created by Larry David.
Okay. You guys are doing something different every single time.
There's no way. I want to listen to that later.
Because the end is the only thing you guys kept doing at the same time that it. And that, I was like, what is that? Because the rest of it was nothing. You guys are just going,
Okay, let me paint a scenario. Oh no, Fishman ate my cat.
Da, na, na, na.
That was so worse.
So, we
watched two
literally,
movies.
well, yeah, we just watched Shape of Water by Guillermo del Toro.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to start with that?
Yeah, definitely, because this guy didn't watch Gummo, and he probably wants to go home at some point or something. But...
I just woke up.
Damn.
I got a good whatever we need in me.
Oh, okay. Then maybe we could
Not
start
a
with
Fishman
Gummo.
penis.
I feel like Shape of Water is so fresh. I want to just,
I feel like we're going to talk about it longer.
All right, let's start with Gummo.
Pretty salty.
Go ahead, start
Or-
with Gummo.
Great idea. We do this right now, and then tomorrow you and I talk about Gumbo, and we stitch them together.
Now let's do Gummo right now.
I said Gumbo.
Let's do Gumbo.
Okay.
Alright, I'm here for commentary. I'll just crack like wise jokes every couple seconds.
Yeah.
You guys say something, I'll think of a pun.
All right, here is what I want you to do.
Okay.
You're going to try to imagine this film in your head,
Okay. Yeah.
and as we're going along, if something doesn't make sense, maybe you kind of bring it up, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Gummo.
Mail time.
Oh, what's that?
Mail time.
Oh, yeah. This is an electronic bit of mail also. It is 2023 after all, and I'm a man who has 2 phones and 2 laptops. Actually, 3 laptops. I'm a man who has 3 laptops.
3 laptops.
All right, Gummo. An excerpt from Chris Crumley's review of Neon Genesis Evangelion. I don't like anything about it in particular, really. It's just vibes, 7 out of 10. Gummo was made in maybe 97 or 8 or something like that. Maybe it's
Sounds right
maybe
to
even
me.
96 by Harmony Korine. Hot off the success of Kids. Boy, were there magazines alleging that he was the future of cinema at that time. That didn't really go that way.
It's because you're going to make a fight camp or whatever that was called.
Yeah. In general, he does not consider himself much of a director. He considers himself more of an aestheticist.
I was going to say I wouldn't either. No offense
Yeah.
to him, but yeah.
Well, it's like that thing that that was kind of one of the reasons why I brought up the Francis Ford Coppola thing in the beginning, because it's a great example of that. I feel like gone is the professionalism. It's just a guy who's got a camera being like, "Look, I have something to express."
Yeah, that came out of my mouth real shitty, and I didn't mean it to. Like, oh, neither do I. No offense. I just meant like, yeah, no, he's not like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
That's correct. He's an aestheticist. Yes.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, for better or worse, Gummo and Harmony Korine, Gummo is art, Harmony Korine is an artist, right?
Sure.
It's one of those things where, like, you say that and then immediately people think, suddenly it's like, oh, you're saying it should be in a museum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
no.
that. What I'm saying is that it's not a film in the traditional sense. It's not a mainstream film. It's not made to be sold in a theater to have people come and buy popcorn. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's what I like about it. We'll get to your history with Gummo later. Or I was reading a bunch of Letterboxd reviews while we were watching the other movie for Gummo.
For Gummo?
I like this one quite a bit.
Okay.
1 star. I want to beat the shit out of this movie. But a lot of the bad 1-star reviews were like, yeah, well, you make any criticism you want about this movie, you're going to get hit back with, oh, it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's supposed to be that way. And it's what I think just a different way of saying exactly what you were just saying.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, it just...
It's either for you or it's not. It's not...
Well, not even that. I mean, just when you watch it, it's just there's no real narrative structure. There is. Stuff happens. There's... Time progresses, but it's you just you watch it and you feel what you feel while you're watching it. Yeah. And then it's over. The big thing that I get from this movie is this is a real part of the world. This is a real part of the world that I see all the time, but never really pay that much attention to. And it's something you said forever ago that I think about all the time. I'll be out in public all the time, and I'll just go, "Oh, the whole world is Gummo." So just watching this movie, I was just enthralled because this just made me think of so many specific people I knew growing up,
or memories, or situations you found yourself in.
Yeah.
There was that whole era you told me about where you were hanging out. Maybe it was once, maybe it was more. I don't know, with kids who lived in that trailer park or whatever. Does that ring a bell?
Me?
Or is that a different friend I'm thinking of?
I think you're thinking of someone else. Yeah.
I'm thinking of someone else. But anyways, so to go back to those 1-star reviews, that's what I mean about it, is that it's it's one of those things where it does evade criticism because whatever it's going for, there's nothing you can argue it could do better. But that doesn't mean it's perfect or that it's good. It just means that it is what it is and you're either into that or you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I do also feel like it's cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think the biggest thing about this is this is a real world, and I feel like what I'm watching right now is I'm watching an actual person's life right now. Yeah. But also it is intercut with a lot of just normal people, so I feel like that's cheating a little bit, but I think it works perfectly together. Donald, do you know what Gummo is?
No clue.
That
is all.
All right,
okay,
we'll get there.
We'll get
there. So like I said, Kids. I saw Kids first. That was my first introduction.
That's a messed up one, right?
It's messed up, but it's also again that it's not that overshadows the rest of it. It was also one of those things where shout out to listener and friend of the show, Johnny Athey. I think you wrote a nice little thing on Letterboxd where he was talking about I don't know because I'm not in the skateboarding world but how many legends of the skateboarding world from just the New York street scene are in that film. And a lot of 90s day in the life movies, it was a just perfect, snapshot of a very specific, hey, this is what a day in the life of my friends looks like. and it was relevant for an entire generation, just like, you know, Clerks or Do the Right Thing or whatever.
Yeah.
All those movies that. Anyways, and yeah, there were so many interesting things about it. Like, that's the first movie that I've ever heard, like, Daniel Johnston, you know, needle drop. You know, so, and it does the same thing, where it's interspliced with, not only are both films interspliced with actual non-actors, but most of the actors in the films hadn't even been anything prior to that, so they are not even necessarily actors. And so I saw that. I saw it with a girl I was dating at the time, and it ends on a big bummer. I'm not going to spoil it here. Such a big bummer that just in silence, I held her while she cried for like 10 minutes.
Can I index real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can find that spoiler in one of the earlier episodes.
Yeah, I was going to say
spoiled that like 3 times before.
Yeah, we've talked about kids so many times on this podcast.
Yeah,
and we've talked about the
You're gonna
ending of
watch it one day.
kids so many times.
You're going to watch it one day.
No, the scene of entering room and leaving room, if that's the one from Kids or the
Yes,
record.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll never watch Kids.
Yeah, you're going to watch Kids. It's a good movie. Will you watch Gummo at least?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. It's
Gummo,
a real world.
Hey, Chris came in just hot, just sprinted to the house.
One of my favorite movies.
And he was like, I'm going to change my movie this week. We're not watching... I don't remember what your last movie. We're not watching Squid and the Whale. We're gonna watch Gummo, okay? And I was like, "Is Gummo a bummer though?" And he's like, "No, this movie's not a bummer." Donald, there's a point in this movie where 2 kids pay a guy to go have sex with a sister who has Down syndrome.
That sounds like a bummer, dude.
Yeah, bro. This movie's a huge bummer. Donald, there's a part in this movie where 2 kids break into a guy's house because he's cutting in on their territory of killing stray cats and delivering them to the local supermarket. So they break into his house. He's not home, but his sick grandma that he takes care of is, and they just unplug her life machine thing. And then just go.
I would fight this movie.
I'm
not a fighting guy. I'm really relatable. I'm scrawny.
Yeah.
All right. I weigh 190.
Yeah.
I'm only 6 foot.
Opening statement.
And I would fight.
Opening statement, because I feel like I'm having to defend this movie in court. Raymond Carver is one of my favorite authors. I've already told you the story. You get ready to sit through for the 19th time probably in our friendship. I've heard, maybe it's urban legend, maybe it's rumor, who knows? But I've always heard this story of like a French author being tasked with not adapting, but translating our Raymond Carver collection into French, and how for just a year or 2 as he's working on it, just a smug piece of shit he thought Raymond Carver was. He was like just kind of an asshole, making fun of these poor people. And then, like, in just perfect French fashion, there was a point where he was like, and then I saw a picture of Raymond, and I had to rush home and restart everything that I was working on, because he realized that he wasn't actually punching down, but instead singing the praises of these people, of these, downtrodden, alcoholic, middle America, middle class. I don't know that this movie does that to the fullest extent, but I also don't. I think there is still something here that keeps it from being a bummer.
For Donald, the movie's about a town in Ohio, yeah?
Ooh,
yeah, Xenia.
Well, there you go. You lost me. Okay, if you ever go to... Oh, my God.
Avon.
I can't even... Avon? How do you remember?
Because I had the best acai bowl I've ever had in my life in Avon, Ohio.
Ever go to Avon, Ohio? NPCs, bro. I've been to Toledo. Fine, perfectly fine. I'm not going to give that shit just like everybody else does. But Avon, I stayed there for work, and people were just weird. They'd stare at me. I walked into a Walmart, and no eyes were anywhere else but me, and they stopped. They, stopped to look.
I had the same exact thing. Me and Will stopped at a small cafe in Ohio on our way to Kentucky, right? We walk in, there's maybe 5 to 6 people, like a lady at the register, a couple people in booths or whatever, they're talking. As soon as we walk in, like a fucking movie, I'm not even trying to tell you an interesting story right now, they literally stopped what they were doing and stared at us and did not speak until we left with our coffee. And it was a while, because for some reason they were like, oh, we gotta brew some fresh coffee. You gotta brew some fresh coffee? What's everybody sitting around here drinking? But anyways, literally what he's talking about actually happened in Ohio.
Happened to me in Alabama. It happened to us. We went to a gas station.
Roll Tide.
Exactly, and there were like 4 people, and they were working, and they were just had their eye. They're just like hawks watching us. I was like, oh, they probably think we're stealing, of course. And I turned around to talk to Elton, and I noticed he was wearing a crop top, and I was like, oh no, it's because we're not from around these parts.
Yeah.
And they were just very rude and curt, and just stared at us the whole time. And then we went to a place called, I think it was just called like Haberdashery or something like that.
Okay.
And we went there, and it was just the most middle of nowhere you can imagine.
Yeah.
It is just the house from Courage the Cowardly Dog. But imagine if it was a swamp instead.
Yeah.
And I was like, Elton, we shouldn't be here. He's like, nah, it's fine. And we went in, and yeah, we just went in, and there was a bar in the back, and just everything stopped, and everybody looked at us and did not continue speaking.
Yeah.
When we sat down at the bar. But because they're two charming city slickers,
Yeah, that's the world.
we warmed them up real quick, and they were our best friends by the time we left.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was a happy ending. I
Yeah.
thought that was gonna go worse.
I was doodling stuff on napkins, and they're like, oh, I want to take this home and give it to my brother. He loves this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, stop.
Yeah, I met other people from Michigan, and those were the nicest people to me. And
Interesting.
Non-awkward.
And they were like, oh, do you draw like comic books for a living or something like that? And I went, no, not really. And then I left, and I looked at Elton, and I was like, I should have lied. I should have just lied. And I was like, oh, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
So just so you know, while Elton's out gallivanting the country on work and stuff
Definitely,
like that,
definitely
just lying.
spreading
That's
a
all he's
seed
doing.
across the countryside.
Just lying.
Is it just a billion little baby Eltons being
Also-
born every day?
Humble brag. Oh, do you do comics? No.
Take him to jail.
Anyway, it's a town in Ohio that got struck by a tornado forever ago.
Yeah,
and
it
so
opens
it's just,
with some like VHS-y looking footage of just a little poor town in Ohio. As Solomon, our main character, is just kind of like a year ago or whatever. Xenia was hit by a tornado. People got ripped up, cats and trees, and people lost heads, and yada yada yada, whatever. Then there's so many vignette stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say we shouldn't. There's absolutely no way we should go.
Oh, there's no
point
order.
by point.
No. But,
I'm still describing the movie to our friend Donald.
Yeah. Okay. So tornado killed a bunch of cats.
Yeah.
What's up with the cats dying theme of these two movies?
There's a
We'll
lot.
Oh, that's a
of-
great point.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later, right?
Donald, we did it for like 2 episodes, but I was like, you know what we should do? You know what should be the shtick for our podcast? It should be we should just pick 2 random movies and then find a connection between the 2 of them. And you'd be great at it. You've been doing it all night long.
Yeah. Look at this thing. I'm very thankful to be here.
But it's that, and the characters in it are just these people in this town, like they're just for lack of a better term, quote unquote, just white trash. And it's like the movie is written, and there are parts that are scenes with quote unquote actors, but then it's interspliced with a lot of like just real footage of real people just existing in these places, and it's very, very strange.
Yeah, there's also an element to which it's got this like primordial soup of like pre-internet, pre-Tumblr, but still like cable television, MTV, like just culture soup, where like it keeps splitting between like heavy Mortician, black death metal-y stuff, and then like Mr. Sandman, like which is like something that only kind of really started happening late 80s into the 90s. Like it's just, like I said, just whatever. So sometimes they're just barreling down the street as like just like just riding bikes, and then other times women are jumping on their bed with their younger sister to Mr. Sandman. This is very
Well, that
interesting.
sounds like kids and adults. That's
Well, no, they're all kids. Everybody's
Oh, okay. They're on their. I thought I was
their
thinking
bikes.
motorcycles.
No.
A
That's
lot of
bikes.
bicycle riding in this movie.
A lot of bicycle
Gotcha.
riding. Yeah.
Gummo has one small wheel on the front of his bike, and I love it.
Yeah, his name's Solomon.
It's Gummo.
Grundy, right?
Um,
Isn't that Grundy? Solomon
Also,
Grundy?
very clear inspiration visually. Very clear inspiration on a lot of like modern, what I would call aestheticists. Like to a degree, Tyler the Creator is an aestheticist, and I would say his entire like Goblin era into like Cherry Bomb with like I'm thinking of the single cover for Smuckers as a guy with 2 different flesh tones holding a cigarette and pissed jeans, or like just like the upside down crosses and like. It's got that kind of thing. But anyways, so Solomon, the main thing that they do is they roll around. They try to they try to find dead cats to go sell to like the grocery store gentleman or whatever. But there's a lot of things they do together. Like
You're absolutely right. It's from playing at Dave & Buster's. Go on.
But like another thing they do is once they get paid from the guy at the gas station, not the gas station, the supermarket, is they buy glue that you can huff to get high, and then they get
There's
high.
so much glue huffing in this movie.
Yeah, they get high in like the white trash version of where Ryan Gosling takes his girlfriend in a drive.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, same place.
Yeah.
The white trash version and romantic version of those locations are not different places.
And they're just high as hell, and he's I can't remember Solomon's friend's name. But he's basically talking about how his brother went away to New York because he's a queer. He dresses like a lady and thinks he's a lady. And then Solomon, who's very funny throughout this film, in my opinion, goes like, "Is he pretty?" And he's like, "I don't know, pretty enough to have a boyfriend, I guess." Which is that's pretty good. And yeah, they just kind of pal around and do their thing. Another thing, it's real honest American. Like, here's another thing I guess I should mention at the top before we get too much into describing scenes and stuff like that. A companion piece to the Raven Carver thing is there's also a huge heaping spoonful of like, this is funny to Harmony. He thinks he's being like Groucho Marx. Like, this is funny. The whole thing is supposed to be funny in a challenging way. I know he's intentionally playing with like, I also want you to feel other things. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm setting these up to be like, it's absurdist is what it is. Yeah. Right. It's absurdist. I wouldn't even call it. It teeters into edgy, but I think it's more that like him just trying to come up with the most ridiculous thing he possibly can. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's definitely edgy. Yeah.
Yes, definitely edgy, but I don't think that's the point. Like, I don't see it as like a Bob Saget thing where it's just gross out. I think it legitimately is just like, how far can I take it in terms of like, what's the most absurd situation these people could be in? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I think
which doesn't sound like I'm making a differentiation at all.
I was going to say, that sounds like Bob Saget. I think you're just not giving Bob Saget enough credit, which is a strange thing for me to be saying. I never thought I would say that. But you ever huff glue?
I've never huffed glue.
You ever huff glue?
I've watched my friends do duster, though.
I rolled up paper in class. I never lit it or anything, but I put it in my mouth and I breathed on it. I breathed. I took breaths on it many times. Skittles. Oh wait, no. Smarties, for sure. Smarties. Snorted? Smarties.
But anyways, Tale as Old as Time, really. It's just an exaggerated version of it. They get paid, and what do? They get high off glue, and they have sex.
Have you ever huffed glue?
Donald, thank you so much. No,
I saw that coming, bro.
I knew there was no way you'd huff glue.
Yeah. Well, it's not like I was trying to do a bit or had a joke.
Did you have a bit?
Oh, we'll never know now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, what else happens? There's a bunch of little vignettes with real people. Like, there's a bunch of just racists sitting around talking about how much they hate black people. There's also that albino woman who gives her, like, dating profile. That's very interesting. The other thing is I like the gaggle of young blonde women just doing lady stuff. It reminds me of when I was reading...
Gaggle.
When I was reading... Tina Fey's autobiography.
Bossy Pants?
Yeah, there was a point where she was talking about spending summers with her cousins and how they taught her how to do like women stuff, like laying out, that kind of stuff. That's just all they're doing. They're kind of hanging out. They're taking care of cats. One of the cat might be pregnant. They talk about how they might have to go drown the kittens in the lake or whatever. That's what you do in the South. That's not even being absurdist. That's just the kind of shit that like literal Southern people will do.
Yeah, just nasty.
Yeah. It's a little nasty.
I love my cats.
But anyways, they're doing weird stuff like, taping up their nips because they make them pop or whatever. And I really, really, genuinely, really, really like the scene where they're jumping on the bed to Mr. Sandman, and then you get that slow motion footage of Chloe. Can't say her last name. Never been able to. Savignon, whatever the fuck. Savignon. I don't know. Harmony Korine's girlfriend at the time, but also I know that she was kind of an it girl at the time. Was modeling,
God, I want to be an it girl so bad.
Hanging out with Kim Gordon and the Beastie Boys and stuff like that.
God, I want to be an it girl hanging out with the Beastie Boys so bad.
What's an it girl?
Just to be like literally it, like you are it,
like a Paris Hilton kind of, just like
but of days past, like
I don't know. That's a lot of spotlight.
But anyways,
I want to be famous, just not that famous. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just there's no response to it.
Yeah.
Just want there to be an understanding.
You know what got me?
What's
what
that?
really hooked me into this movie, and like the scene that really got me, like, oh, okay, I get what this movie is, and this movie is really, it's getting me in the gut.
Yeah.
Is those two guys? It starts with that narration about the two Mormon guys killing their parents.
Yes.
And no idea if this is related to the two of them at all or not. But then it just cuts to these two guys in the kitchen, and they're just the two dumbest guys you've ever seen. Just two bald guys, just just those kind of dumb guys.
Yeah.
And one guy punches the other one. He goes, "Oh fucking man!" and punches him back. And then they just have a fist fight in their kitchen where they're just giggling the whole time.
But it's like a brotherly, loving, like,
but it's so
grizzly bear fight.
Violent. But it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm tense watching this because I've seen the world's two dumbest guys like this fight before. And I know just how quickly this can turn into an actual fight, and it probably will.
Yeah.
And it's just so tense, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, I know exactly what this movie is. I know exactly who this movie's about, I guess.
Because there's
And it
even
felt like
smaller
weird,
flashes.
reverence for it. Go on.
Yeah, there's even like smaller flashes where like it's just in somebody's house, but you don't even get them speaking or doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just like a mom and her daughter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is interesting. Because it's also one of those things where it's like, was my dog, and I know he was, just barking around. I think it was shot in Tennessee specifically, even though they say Ohio. Just barking around, being like, hey, can I shoot the inside of your house for a bit for this movie?
For sure. Yeah,
you know? Yeah, there's a couple other vignettes and stuff like that. And arguably one of the more tough scenes is another voiceover narration with like a young girl playing and just playing, and she's just talking about her dad sexually assaulting her, basically.
Yeah, it's like VHS footage of a young girl playing with like the narration of an older woman talking about being molested by her father.
Yeah. And then you turned to me and you said, Chris, I can't believe you looked me dead in my shit and said this movie is not about her.
He did. He looked me right in the eyes. What? Oh.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. And then the Down syndrome prostitute thing happened, and you were like, you looked at me in the face and said this wasn't above her.
In the beginning of this, you told me to picture this. You're the devil reincarnate.
But anyways, I also like this. Like he keeps doing that thing with his nipple, squeezing his little nipple.
Yeah, weird.
Horribly
little tick.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, awful. Hate it.
Yeah, but there are two things I like about this scene. Again, because like there's always like something a little complicating about the situation that, like, again, in my opinion, elevates it beyond just being like, and then everybody's shit everywhere. Like the way that Solomon goes in there, and they seem to have that like relationship where like.
Yeah, Gummo's not in there to have sex with her. He's
Yeah.
like,
because she says like, because it's something about like, oh, yada yada yada, because I love you or whatever. He's like, you do love me or whatever, and he's like, yeah, silly, and he's like, something about like making him her wife and stuff like that. I'm
he's just flirting with her like a little kid. Like it does feel like a vaudeville like slap. Like Gummo is great in this movie. Like he's like kind of flirting with her and stuff like that, and he's just winking, but it's like over the top and like some shit he saw on TV, like he's a little boy because he is a little boy.
Yeah.
And then I love outside Gummo's friend is just
over
high
the top,
as hell, over the top.
He's like, and then another
yelling.
man came up to me and he said, I haven't eaten in a week, and I said, it's okay, it tastes the same. He's like,
just going and going and going and going.
I love that
so
when he's going like, ha cha 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 cha, ha cha 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 cha, you're a great crowd. It's
he's
just
doing
one dude, one shirtless dude.
He's just doing a vaudeville act at 4 times the speed. It's so funny.
Yeah. So those two aspects of it make that one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Because it is tough, and you're like, what the fuck? But then like again,
that's the whole movie. It's just a bunch of garbage. You're like, I cannot believe that I'm looking at this, and then it's just a sweet little moment. And then I cannot believe I'm looking at this, and it's just a sweet little moment.
Yeah, like there's also the scene where everybody's hanging out arm wrestling, and then they decided to just beat the shit out of one chair. It's just like 13 shirtless dudes in a room drinking beer, and then there's no beer, and they get so mad they break up a chair.
Exactly. Fun fact.
Good, that's fun.
Read IMDb trivia, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess. One of those guys in that room got out of prison that day. Yeah. And one of the women in that room, pregnant as hell.
Oh, interesting. That reminds me of one of my favorite jokes from The Simpsons. Bart's throwing a party, and it's just doing that like, it's doing that like game of telephone thing where there's just a million squares. But one of the people that gets called is like Snake from prison, and he's like, "All right, released at noon and already invited to a party." Like from a jail cell, I think, even.
The Simpsons.
But anyways, bada bing, bada bang. There's a couple other things I think about quite often. Hands down, much like Mike Tyson says about Muhammad Ali, all heads must bow. The scene that kills me in this movie is the tap dancing one. That's my Last Supper faux show.
His mom is the most complicated part of this movie for me. I just cannot. She seems like such a real woman.
I know, it's crazy.
You can't wrap your head around, and she seems so nice and so sweet, and she loves her son so much. Yeah. But they
just live in Xenia, Ohio.
Live in Xenia, Ohio, and their house is just destroyed, and it's a mess. And it's like, God, it's just, she's so complicated, because this is legitimately a wonderful woman who loves her son, but also at the same time, they're just there has to be something wrong with her for her and her son to be in this situation. Like,
yeah, a lot of what you're
cut
saying.
out what I just said.
No, I
like,
think it was beautiful and it was on point because I think that about like the whole movie. It's one of those things where it's like, except for like someone being blatantly racist, like those people sitting around or whatever. Like there's so much of it where it's just like, God, like just victim of circumstance after victim of circumstance after victim of circumstance.
Yeah,
you know
and like she was going on about dad and how he was a tap dancer and like they had like better plans for their lives, but I don't know, she almost seems oblivious to the comedically large pile of garbage in the basement or every other part of that house, or that she's feeding her son spaghetti and milk while he's in a brown watered bath while she's
do you think that's the thing where like that's the quality of water currently?
No idea.
Or do you think he
Gummo
was
is just
dirty?
that dirty. No, it doesn't make.
Currently, Ohio's water is fucked.
Get him.
She put cold in there. It's boiling.
But yeah, I love that. I love when she's like, she says something like whatever she's saying. She's like, "I love you, and if you don't say it back, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out." She's doing like the gun thing the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole thing goes crazy. She's like tapping the whole time,
great.
and like her ex-husband's big ass taps, and while he's just like, why he thought that 6 spoons and forks taped together would be enough to like get a pump going. I don't know.
He's a little guy.
He's a little guy, but he ain't
Also,
that little.
I love the basement and how, like, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is so comedically, like, it almost looks like a set. There's so much shit down there. And then being like, oh, no, my basement 100% looked like that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things where it's like, again, like, dude, the fucking, like, location scouting is just nuts. Like, everything in this movie is like, nobody did anything other than hit, like, strike gold.
Yeah, exactly. It
Like,
has to be what you said. He was for
Yeah.
sure had to be just walking around Tennessee going, can I film in your house for a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just nuts. Just nuts. Probably my least favorite scene is, like, his little cameo. It's fine because it's one of those things that like just every director
I
does.
forgot about it.
So that cameo sucked. I actually did watch the movie. I have no idea what went on in the cameo. There might have been a little.
Yeah, it's him drunk and he's making a move on a little person. But anyways, bada bing, bada bang. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure I'm missing a million little tiny things because it is.
We should have talked about Shape of Water first.
Why?
Because I remember none of it right now.
What? None of Shape of Water?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
just
funny.
I'm praying and I'm hoping that Donald has it all on.
Oh, he's got it all written down like a notebook. Yeah, and then like you said, it ends with that little spaghetti and milk scene. One of the things about this movie that reminds me of Donald is when she's fucking with his hair with the soap. She makes a Grinch mountain with his hair.
Oh yeah, I love the Grinch mountain. Our mom always did that every time. And then,
to you in the bath?
Yeah,
because you always said it about ice cream cones. You would lick it into a Grinch mountain.
That too. Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. Because Dad would always be like, "Oh, you fucking spilled the ice cream anywhere. Like you're not eating ice cream again." So I'm like really licking for my life. And then I'm like, "Here, Dad, let me distract you from the melting coat of my hands with a little peak at the top." Oh gosh! But also, Mom did it when I would be in the bath. I hated soap anywhere past like my hairline, so that like it distracts me from that. She'd like keep it back, and then she'd be like, "Hey, look at yourself," and she'd be like, "It's the Grinch mountain." I love the Grinch. Tom and Kim had too.
Oh yeah, but Solomon's friend in the beginning, he's got a nice little monologue or whatever where he talks about like how he's like oh, some people think he's an asshole, other people think he's just evil.
Yeah.
But I think he has what it takes to be a legend. Yada yada yada. There's also another scene where I can't remember if that guy's mom has died or just left. I think she just left or whatever, but he's driving with his dad and he asks his dad, he's like, "Did she look like me?" He's like, yeah, she looked a bit like you. And
I do love his dad.
I like his dad too, yeah. And then in the end, there's that bit of where they wear the masks and they break into their competitor's house. I should also mention, I totally forgot about the competitor. Also a crossdresser. They find some images of him wearing ladies' clothes and stuff like that. But back home, he takes care of his grandma. She's in her 90s, and she's just kind of not there anymore. And they break in, and little Gummo, Solomon, finds.
I gotcha.
finds his stack of pornos or whatever. I just love this scene where like he's wearing the mask so you can actually see his face, but he looks at his slightly older friend and he holds up a porno and he's like, he's even got a gay one or whatever. He's got a gay one. But yeah, then they find the grandma or whatever, and the older friend sits on the bed for a while, just kind of brushing the hair of the old lady and looking at her or whatever, and he's trying to explain to Gummo that like this is kind of no way for someone to live. And in his opinion, not that it's even his call, it's not his call to make, but he's basically saying like she's been dead for a long time, like this is not good. And so he pulls the plug. And again, yeah, it's one of those things where like objectively not a good thing to do, or maybe it is. I don't know. It depends on what you think in terms of right to die. Should someone have their? It's really interesting, like, because I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of opinions to be shared. I was just reading a Carver a short story where it was like a late night conversation that a husband and wife were having, where like the wife was like, "You gotta promise me that you'd pull that fucking plug if anything happens. So you gotta promise." And he's like, in that moment, he's like, "Shit, what the fuck do I say to her? I don't know if I can do that." And it's like he goes to work and he's just thinking about it all day. Then when he gets home, he's like, "All right, if that's what you want, I'll do it, but I never, ever, ever, ever want to talk about it ever again. Let's just pretend we never had the conversation. Just know that I will do that if that's what you want." But anyways, yeah. And then the other thing, again, there's that little scene. Go ahead if you have something, though. I'll stop.
I was gonna say, I would argue that this boy who broke into this home
to
scare or beat up a kid who is cutting in on his business of killing stray cats, deciding grandma shouldn't be on life support and turning it off. Evil, crazy. That's clear cut. I didn't have an end to the joke. I thought you'd interrupt me at some point.
No.
Not joke,
that's
but
bad.
That's bad. I was going to say that kid only has
bad.
malicious, even if like, I agree with what you said, like, is it right? Is it wrong? Is she dead? Is she not? That kid's not the one to be making that decision. It's bad. It's evil because he's a bad, evil guy.
Okay. But another thing that I like about the movie a lot is the little Solomon's little, it's like straight up 7 seconds. But he just says something like, "Life is beautiful." And he kind of makes like another one of those like kind of vaudeville, doesn't really land because it's got like a 20s sensibility about it, where like he ends his little like monologue. I can't remember all that he says, but I know at the end he's like, "Life's great because if you weren't alive you'd be dead," or something like that.
It's great. I love it. Yeah.
And other than that, I think that's about all I can mind sweep out of my little mind bomb.
That
field.
ends with "Crying" by Roy Orbison, and it's over.
Yeah, crying over you. Oh, yeah, because that's the thing. Yeah. Solomon's older friend says that his brother used to sing that all the time, and it also ends, with Bunny Ears Boy, who we have not talked about at all.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Kissing both Chloe and one of the other friends, and also the 3 girls. I also forgot that they get picked up, and one of them gets sexually assaulted.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So that's a yikes. There's
scene
also the scene where they're eating, and there's the deaf couple arguing.
Oh right.
Yeah.
The scene where the kid in the bunny ears gets beat up and shot by those 2 kids dressed like cowboys is my favorite scene in this movie.
Yeah, that's definitely a top. That's a top tier for me. He's a dirty, stinking rabbit. Yeah, let's see if he's got any money. Take his shoes. Yeah.
I really like it. Cut this part out maybe because I'm just kind of talking and I feel like...
Oh, he's just kind of doing a podcast and he wants me to cut it? Interesting.
Don't cut. That's your
fine.
signal to not cut.
Fine. I won't give you my, here's my here's what I think that scene is really about.
Yeah.
You won't get it. You were mean.
I was mean.
He's getting into a shell.
I am.
I just made a joke about
I'm a hermit crab and this is my
I just made a joke about how you said cut it because I'm just talking. What the fuck is all of this? We're just talking.
I know. I don't want to sound like a super idiot, but I don't know. Maybe leave it or maybe cut it. I like the scene with the cowboys because it feels like a very real, not a very real, but it kind of feels like an allegory or like a metaphor or like a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Either, any of them. Go ahead.
Simile for
allegory.
Just how someone could just get shot by 2 dipshits just hanging out somewhere.
Yeah.
Like if they were adults, I could see this going the exact same way.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about that scene. That's what I thought it was about, and that's why I really liked it.
That's great. And that's why I argue that it's art.
9 out of 10. I like Gummo quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm going 10 out of 10. 3 air horns. That's an A+ for me. It's one of my favorites.
You know what's insane?
Yeah, what's up?
We've been doing this for like a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
We always, every single episode forget that we do letter grades instead of out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start with the letter gets an out of 10.
A+.
B+.
From someone who's never seen it, who's just told it,
Yeah.
I'll give that shit like a B- because it's hard. You said it's
Respectable.
So you have to watch it, so I'll give it something average because just from listening, I'm a bummer. It's a bummer. I don't like to be bummed. I watch anime.
Yeah.
It keeps me happy.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and it
never
keeps
a
you
bummer.
relatable.
It does. Yeah. So I watch anime. I play indie games now.
Cool. But neither of those things are ever bummers.
Yeah. Right. Until you watch Lelouch. Code Geass, Lelouch.
All right.
That's
The other.
my anime recommendation, A+.
Yeah. The
And
other
now
movie
here's
we
the thing that
watched.
Donald's been waiting for all night.
Yeah.
We watched The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water by Nick Johnson. I like Hellboy a lot. To quote Chris Crumley's review of Neon Genesis Evangelion, I don't like anything about it in particular, really. It's just vibes, you know? My favorite part of Hellboy has always been the Fishman.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Hellboy's best friend, Abe Sapien, the Fishman. In 2017, Guillermo del Toro asked me, do you want to see him fuck? And I said, 7 out of 10.
So do you want to see this fish man fuck? And I said,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do want to see him fuck.
Yeah.
And I
And what
did.
did we not get?
What do you mean? What did we not get?
We did not see him
A
fuck.
lot of it. You don't get to see it.
You
open.
didn't see him
You don't get to see it
fuck.
open.
Oh, but you know
You
that little
know
freak-
he fucked.
No, but
Yeah.
you know that little freak Guillermo del Toro. They built one. They for sure built a mechanical prop that does
Yeah.
that. And whoever
Yeah.
was giving him funding for the movie was like, you're not
Yeah.
putting that in the movie.
Yeah.
Chris and Donald, what's your history with Shape of Water?
Straight up zero history other than the meme of isn't that the movie about the lady who fucks a fish? That's all I got.
My pops watched it, but a long time ago when it came out.
What do you say?
I will find him. That's about it.
Yeah, your dad is not Michael Shannon.
That's about it. He's like, it's the guy from Man of Steel,
That's what he said?
General Zod. Probably. That's about. I can't remember that much for it back.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Too
That's my
much.
history. And then you were like, hey. What do you want to come over today? And I was like, yeah, I literally have nothing to do. And you're like, watch The Shape of the Water. I was like, oh, I heard that's good. Not at all what I expected.
You know, I'm going to say something nice right now. My girlfriend's mom moved to tears trying to explain to me how heartwarming watching us interacting is.
Us?
Yeah.
I thought you meant you and your girlfriend. I was like,
No, I meant me and this motherfucker.
with all due
Chris's
respect, I
girlfriend's
thought,
mom.
who gives a shit? But that makes way more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Respectfully, Mamie.
Mamie?
Is that not allowed? Like mommy, but Amy is her name.
Her name is Amy. What the fuck?
Let's cut that.
Yeah.
This is a cut signal.
No, it's not getting cut. We don't edit anymore. We don't give a shit.
Chris's girlfriend's mom. Thank you very much.
But I mean, to
She's not
piggyback
gonna
off that,
listen.
I've never thought this my entire life. Not only if you know, don't know if you know this, but I'm a younger brother. I have an older sister, and that's it.
Oh.
Every time I've never thought this. Every time I see the two of you, I'm like, man, it probably beats ass to have a brother.
Damn, we have so many of them.
Yeah, we literally have like 4 or 5 other brothers.
You can for real have Levi.
I like Levi. He's my favorite.
Levi is pretty fun. Did you meet Levi?
See the one I play Mario Kart with?
Yeah.
I like Levi quite a bit. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, if
Levi's
you want another
great.
sister, you can have Agnes.
Levi's funny as fuck. Anyways, Shape of Water. Here's my letterbox review. Amelie. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Fuck. Thin. You ever seen Amelie?
No.
It's a very twee, like, yeah, you know. It's literally, this movie is 50% that, and then 50% like Iron Giant-y,
Yeah.
Black
Okay.
Lagoon.
Yeah,
I got a
definitely.
review.
Yeah.
Lady I don't know the name of. Oh, Zelda.
Amy.
Zelda.
Zelda, no, Zelda's her friend. Her name is Estonia.
Her name is
What is it, Esmeralda?
it's Gummo.
Oh, man.
It's,
Okay.
It's Gummo.
It's Lady Gummo. Fish Boy. Fuck.
His name,
But-
never given?
Never given.
Ape Sapien. He looks exactly like Hellboy's friend. He's
does.
played by the
Yeah.
same actor, same director.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, you had training.
Like,
Okay.
like it was a joke, but it's also not a joke. Guillermo del Toro, I swear to God, was making Hellboy. And I was like, what if this fish guy fucked? I want to make that movie.
That's what I was thinking this whole time. Is okay. So, Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's almost like this reminds me of this is like a sequel, non-sequel, where like, okay, what if like the King Kong thing happened and they brought that creature back home, and Guillermo del Toro said, well, it would probably fuck a human lady.
Yeah.
But it would kill her.
Yeah.
She would die.
Yeah.
Because, like, they say they brought it from South America. I would bet money that if you look up Creature of the Black Lagoon, they're, like, in South America or something. So it's like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to that. Not to disprove the Hellboy thing. I'm just saying that, like, there's another little fun thing there.
And that's when they came up with Evil Dead. They looked at the thing and said, what if they could fuck? Found a tree. So yeah, Fish Boy, lady I don't know the name of. Fuck, dead fingers, smell bad, get ripped off. Finish.
Yeah, okay, so the Creature of the Black Lagoon is from the Amazon. Where's the Amazon? South America.
Hey, great point, Chris.
Anyways.
But also, anyways, hey, Nick, what's your experience with The Shape of Water? Guys,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you asked.
We're just too busy being brothers over here.
I know.
And it
Yeah.
beats ass.
It's
yeah, you can
I almost was like, before we started, I was almost like, one of you has to come sit next to me. Because I knew this would happen. I feel so, literally cannot feel more separated from two people.
There's move seats and it died.
We wanted to be three persons. Like
literally, there's an entire table with so much shit on it in between me and two men who are communicating telepathically. Never felt more alone in my life. I saw this movie when it came out in theaters.
Not only that, but he's got his arm around me.
Absolutely.
Has had this whole podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have to. I want to be in front, so I'm projecting.
So I saw it in theaters. I
Alone?
didn't like it, and no.
Without a brother. Oh man.
So I saw this movie alone, and I didn't
With
like
who?
it.
Oh yeah, alone. Okay.
And I didn't like it.
It's the most important part.
I saw this by myself, and nobody else was like, no, I don't think I liked that. And I went, you know what? Me, I guess. I don't think I liked that either. And so
Yeah.
I spent the past 5-6 years going, Shape of Water, that movie sucks.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, because I was wrong about it.
Yeah.
Were you just ashamed to be a little horny?
Could have been. Are you telling me you were a little horny watching this movie? Are you telling me the boys were hanging out in this living room 20 minutes ago and you were out here a little horny?
Yeah, let me
for
put it to you this
Fishman?
way. Glad I sat on the floor.
You moved to the
Yeah, I get it.
You were there in the first corner.
Well, because I was getting horny. I was like, I can't be sitting on this couch.
You did say second horniest I've ever been watching a movie.
You did say that out loud in a room
Not
with your
how I
brother,
said
yeah.
it.
Yes.
This is okay, all right.
What was the first movie? What was the first movie?
We didn't talk about it.
Yeah, we did.
We did. He did say it. I can't remember it, though. I'll think about it.
I can't remember.
Oh, you know for sure. It's the horniest you've ever been watching a movie. Of course you remember
how
it.
would you not know?
He's lying to us. So anyway, yeah, and then so after seeing this movie, horny with the boys, I did like it better than trying to not be horny alone in a movie theater. I like this
Donald?
movie quite a bit. Is what I'm getting at.
Donald, what did you think of this movie? Just like your concise, like you liked it or you didn't like it.
Yeah, okay. I guess I liked it for one watch. I'll never watch that movie again.
Why? Too horny?
Anything, I can get by when a dog dies, but when a cat dies,
Yeah.
I have 3 cats. I might have a 4th one.
Damn, you're
that
gonna
really
hate-
hits me.
This guy would hate Gummo.
I would hate
There's a point where like death metal's playing and they're just hitting a dead cat with a stick.
Yeah. So for
Or like a switch.
one watch, sure.
Arguably, if it had one, I'd say the driving narrative force of Gummo is killing cats.
Yeah, that's mainly what the movie's about.
Yeah, so never watching that.
Yeah.
I would rather watch Shape of Water like 5 more times in a row.
Yeah. No cats actually were killed for the movie, but
I mean, that's good.
Shape of Water, though,
appreciate that.
they killed like 4
Oh,
or 5.
they
Yeah.
definitely killed that cat.
This cat, he ate more than that, so they replaced it.
Whoa, too much. You need to eat much less cat in that scene.
You're really good at this. You're a fish
You're
man.
really good at this.
Tone it back a bit.
Doug, so sorry. This is the one scene where you need to be not
Less.
horny.
So right from the rip.
Oh my god. It's a metaphor. It's showing how you eat the... I'm gonna stop there. That's inappropriate. Cut that.
Loop that, just like over.
So right from the rip, like I said, Amelie, Bioshock, Iron Giant,
Hellboy.
Hellboy.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 1 because Octavia Spencer's in it.
Yeah.
I don't know what really changed my mind on it this time, but like I adored most of this movie. I think I think there is arguably something about it that just doesn't like click into place, you know?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like
The dialogue from the general
How
threw me off.
How
threw you off.
It
How-
threw me off. He's just weird. I don't know.
He is a
He
bit
was
strange,
like-
yeah.
he
You know
was
what?
like
You know what it
A
is?
decent man.
Yeah.
Do we need a decent man? No.
Yeah. You know what it is about that scene?
What?
I feel like the general is a little horny.
That?
I feel like everything in this movie
Everything,
is just a
everything
little
because
horny.
even Michael Shannon's like desk lady,
Yeah.
she's looking at him a lot, like with weird eyes too. It's like
Bro,
like one eyebrow.
Lady
cocked
was
up.
on screen 3 times.
I know that's.
And
the
she
thing.
made it count.
She,
That's what Donald's saying.
No.
I know the theme of this movie.
I was a fan of this film. I liked this movie. I did not expect to, and actively throughout a solid, the beginning of it, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this, but no, it won me over. This is a movie. I feel like, in my opinion, what do I know?
Not a lot
I'm
from my
a
experience.
heterosexual, white dude. But it's got that like outsider thing to it. Like the main character is mute, and there's this weird fish creature, and her best friend is a gay man in a time when it's very not cool to be a gay man.
And
And
black lady.
and
too.
yes, also a black woman. I don't see race, but yeah, a black woman. Well, he just motioned squeezing tits.
Yeah,
Why are
I
you
don't get
squeezing tits? What was that about?
I don't see tits.
No, we know. Okay,
I
go
was
on.
thinking about that real. I was thinking about.
We know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Oh shit!
God. But watching this, I was like when it starts and she wakes up after she beats off and all that.
She beats off.
More than 15.
Honestly, this is probably the most I've ever seen a one person jerk off.
Like in total in your life, or
In my
in a
total
movie?
life, yeah.
Really?
Other than me. Who else have you seen jerk off more than once or twice, you know?
Oh well, let me tell you right into this microphone, Chris.
Yeah.
That'd be a good podcast if you had the balls, but I think you're a coward.
No, if you said.
Oh, okay,
that,
it's
I'd
Chris.
say-
Sometimes I just hang out in Chris's room and he gets home too early. I got hired for like 12 hours sometimes.
You're back there doing laundry and you're just like, oh, he's already going. I will just wait.
He was cheering you on from the closet this morning.
My closet is inaccessible, so that joke doesn't make sense for either of us.
Okay, that joke would make sense to anyone else who doesn't know your closet.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, after she's done jerking off, a
lot.
Eggs.
Always
Just
underwater.
eggs. Always underwater, yeah.
Yeah, and scratch marks on her neck.
Huh. Could those be gills, maybe?
That happened like 11 times watching this movie. Chris would. That was the first one where you're like, they're like gills, and you did it. You sandwiched it. You guessed the end of the movie at the beginning of the movie, and then as the movie was going on, right when you get to the middle,
Yeah.
I was like, how do you think she answers the phone? And Chris goes, she probably taps on it, and then she taps on the phone. So you were getting. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I got to get a whiteboard so I can.
Yeah.
No, I see it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You guessed the ending. You knew the beginning,
Yeah.
and you just kept guessing until you got to the middle.
Yeah.
And then
And it was
you've
immediate.
seen the whole movie, and that's when you go, "Hey, does this remind you of anything?" Doodle 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 on his guitar.
Yeah, there's a part we paused it. I can't remember
15
why.
Like 15, 20 minutes left of the movie.
And
Yes.
Chris just starts playing a song on the guitar for Donald. I was like, you recognize this? And Donald's like, no. And he's like, Nick, you recognize this? And I'm like, no. And he's played it for a while and then started singing it. And it was like, oh, and one more thing. And Donald said, hang on real quick.
Let's finish this movie.
Anyway,
Yeah.
That was the first time I think you've ever cued a joke, and it's worked on.
Donald, thank you so much.
Every single time I've heard him go, well, I was waiting for you to end it or cut me off.
I love this movie. No, what I was gonna say is I love this movie
this
starts
woman's morning routine. It's bust a nut,
eat an egg.
yeah, and not just any egg,
Hard-boiled.
but hard-boiled, the least sexy egg.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And she's got
What's
the
it-
egg timer.
Hey, real quick, what's the most sexy egg?
Probably just straight up like.
Scrambled.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking
I
like.
like my shit messy with like a little bit of juice coming
Not
out.
how. Oh, okay.
yeah, okay. Pause, bro.
Cut that. Sunny side up.
Yeah, I was thinking the one where you got the fucking yolk and you got the
it's
white.
Titty. You like titty. Do you like how it bounces? Do you smack it then pop it open?
Shawty want a foot. Can we talk about that song for a second?
Oh, I'd love you to. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Pour an ice cold glass on the booty or whatever so that you could get the fucking so you could get the goosebumps so he could bust a nut.
So you can bust a nut. Yes. It makes kind of a sense.
You
I
think he
guess.
has to do so?
Oh, it's not a kink. It is literally a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just coming out of his shell in his own way through song. It's art. It's Gummo.
I've never heard of being sexually attracted or aroused by the goosebump situation. Personally.
I like laughter.
All right, you must be pretty fucking horny right now then, because.
Oh shit! Not my own. Not my
Okay.
own.
Earlier, we were in the bathroom of a National Coney.
And Donald was like, "I'm so horny right now."
Yeah, he's laughing.
No.
A store.
What happened was like it was just two urinals next to each other, and the one is like a baby one, like comically small and low to the ground, whatever. And so someone walks in, and I'm just like straight up brain off watching Instagram reels, and not even doing a bit. This is what I did.
He was pissing on the right one.
I'm
The
pissing,
fucked one.
and I'm like looking at the reel, and like someone comes in and walks in or whatever, and I just go.
Gives him the sexiest look.
Yeah, and we
he has.
catch eyes, and he immediately busts a gut laughing.
It was me. It was
Yeah,
me. I
it was him.
came up.
Yeah. What'd you say to me?
And I was like, why did you smolder? Why did you look into straight into my eye?
I did, because as soon as he started laughing, it was one of those things where I laughed because I was like, "What the fuck?" I knew what I had done.
Then, I swear to God, he straight up pissed on the floor, zipped up, goes, I left too hard, I think I have to poop. Does not wipe the toilet seat, sits directly down, and I hear Instagram reels.
Yeah, because that happened, and then he starts laughing harder, and he stops and goes, "Bruh, did you just sit down on the toilet seat without wiping and open Instagram reels?"
And then he rips his ass.
It wasn't even a poop though. It was just I was laughing so hard I farted a fart I didn't know I had.
Then he gets out. We're dying laughing. We're like, oh, our stomachs.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, I didn't even poop, but a little turd lit.
And then a door opens, and a dad and a son walk towards us, so we're just quiet for a minute. They pass, we get outside the door, and I'm like, a little nugget. I finished my little nugget story.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So National Coney Island Euro.
Yeah, they have a vegan
There's
Euro
a
right
vegan
now.
Euro.
Yeah.
Go get that right now. Keep that shit alive.
So there's also a scene where to fuck the fish, she fills up her whole bathroom with water.
I don't think it's to fuck him, just like fuck him better, you know?
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've probably just been doing it in the shower with their feet being like wet in cold water.
You think they're doing it standing up?
I thought they were horizontal in the tub. Yeah.
I thought they were standing up also. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, you're right. Because when you see it the first time, yeah, he stands up.
And he's inside of her.
Okay, yeah.
We'd like to think that he is, because we'd like to see something, right?
Michael Shannon does a good job, and it's also.
I'm sorry,
very
Donald.
clear.
I'd like to go down what the path Donald was talking about. We'll talk about Michael Shannon in a second.
Did you say he does a good job?
Who does a good job? You just say this fish man does a good job at sex?
No, he said, and we'd like to imagine he's in her because we'd like to see something.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
You're the one that's saying you want to see the dick. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, God. We'd like to imagine because we'd like to see it. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm
God,
so hot.
bro. Damn.
It's so hot in here.
I even
Three horny boys. Sweaty as
All right, let's go jerk off.
We're all we're fired up. We're so ready to talk about this fish.
So he is good at it. He has to be because she does a 1950s song and dance number with an entire orchestra.
That shit goes so hard.
It's really good. It's a beautiful scene.
That's the
Very
best part of the
moving.
movie. It's
Love it.
The going from not talking to voicing out to actually singing, dancing, everything she wants to do, going back out to the, like, not talking, going all the way to the sign language, meaning she was signing a song to him the whole time.
Mhm.
That's the part that hit me.
And he's just going at those eggs.
Yeah, that's what I love. I love when it comes back to reality. And again, he is a literal fish man who doesn't. Well, later on, he lets on that he understands more than she knows. But when he's just the whole thing is like, you and me together or whatever, and she's like, no, can't be. But anyways, he is just sitting there gobbling eggs because he has no idea what the
his
fuck.
head's literally down, like he's like.
Yeah, no, he's
and he,
literally
like,
not even
looks
looking
up,
at her.
like,
Yeah.
Were you talking
Yeah.
to me?
Yeah, 100%.
Were you signing to me?
Classic dudes, you know, just that's
Yeah.
how guys are.
We just love our eggs.
Yeah. So yeah, basically she cleans at a laboratory with her friend Zelda.
Oh my god, that's what I was going to say about 20 minutes ago.
Beginning?
We're not going to do that.
We
Tom.
never touched. We never touched. We got to her jerking off and eating eggs, and then we started talking about fish people.
We didn't even.
Oh.
Technically, we didn't even get there. I went, I'd like to skip past this real quick. And 20 minutes passed about talking about that.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is watching this movie, like at the part where she's cleaning, and there's so much 50s sci-fi shit going on, but you're just kind of seeing it out of like your peripherals because you're just with the cleaning women who are just like cleaning shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so good. And then so, because I remember not liking this movie when I saw it, I was just hanging on to literally every scene. I'm like, this is so good, and I really like this, and I got to really remember this and squeeze every bit of enjoyment I can out of this scene, because I know it's going to get bad toward the end. I know it's going to let me down at some point, and it never did, so I just really enjoyed this whole movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna index this like the first 15-20 minutes. Music is good.
Mhm.
The music is good, and the transitions are very fun in the beginning, and the way like it cuts to the character is so different. Where it's kind of like give me like the Office vibe, where like it will literally scan the room for the person. Like it did that like one time with Michael Shannon. I was like, whoa, this is a movie. I thought that was really cool.
It's a, what is it called? It's a whip pan.
A whip pan?
When you pan, it's to go this way with the camera.
Yeah.
And so you whip pan.
Whip pan.
So now you know for later.
Yeah,
It's a
I like
whip
that.
pan.
Cinematography.
But yeah, Michael Shannon goes crazy in this. I love his whole thing with the pill popping, and he's like an evil, unsettling, more evil, unsettling version of like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
He's got a Leo
for
thing
sure.
about him, but he's just got this like sinister.
You know what I was thinking the whole movie? He should play Bill Hader's older brother in a movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I looked it up. He's 4 years older than Bill Hader. That's perfect.
And he smokes cigarettes, so you could push it up. You could even say he's older than that.
Yeah. How old do you think Michael Shannon is?
56.
56?
48 to 52.
Oh my God, he's 48 years old.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Good
I
on
was
ya.
shooting high.
Yeah.
I don't actually think he looks 56, but I don't know.
He
They
feels
all trick you.
56.
But anyways, yeah, he's got his fingers they were eaten off, but he found them and he's tried to sew them back together. But it's the '60s and they don't really have the technology for that, so that they don't take. And he just keeps popping more of these pills to like try to like combat the pain of his fingers literally like being rejected by his body.
Oh, he's not popping the pills in his mouth. He's popping candy into his
Yeah.
mouth. Just constantly putting something in his mouth.
Yeah, which is so interesting because he's a bad guy. He's ripe for being a smoker, but I like the choice of making him a candy eater.
Yeah. But also, that leads me to believe that
He was a smoker.
he was a smoker, but in this movie about a woman breaking out a fish man so that she can have sex with him, Michael Shannon might be the horniest person in this movie.
Yeah, we
But he's
do
got it
watch
pushed
Silence.
down the most out of anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have one missionary sex with his wife where he's thinking about Esmeralda. And what's so funny?
It's not her name.
What's her name?
Gummo.
Gummo girl.
What's her name, bro?
It's Eliza.
Is it Liza?
It's Liza?
Or Eliza.
Anyways, he's got it bad for this cleaning lady.
He
He's got
really
it
does.
bad. So yeah, he may be the most repressed and horny.
It's Eliza.
Okay, Eliza.
Nice. Because
1 point for Nick.
1 point for Nick.
Point Gremlin.
He I like that he when he even says it to her, he likes her for the same reasons that Fishman likes her, or that he
She
likes
likes
her.
Fishman?
He likes her for the reasons that she likes Fishman, but his
Intended.
I get what you're
intent, he's got malicious intent. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because he sees her for what she is, and it's a
Horny. She's horny.
Fishman looks past it and sees what she is,
What am I?
and he sees Notaki is horny for it.
Yeah. When he goes silence, and it's like, oh, your fingers, they're bleeding on me. I was like, oh god.
All right, I'm gonna say 3 things.
1,
Fablemans,
2,
Shape of Water,
3.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
What about him?
Similar vibes.
I get that. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. Why is this? Yeah. Why is this a Spielberg movie?
yeah,
I can't explain it. This is a Spielberg movie. Yeah. Gross.
Interesting. I also love Dimitri. I also like her neighbor, the balding one.
Oh, I love
he
Dimitri.
paints and stuff. He's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And then he falls in love with Dixie Doug, and then Dixie Doug is like, "Hey, mister, get the fuck out of here." And then a couple of black people walk in, and he's like, not at the counter. Get out of here. And you're like, damn, this guy sucks.
It was
Because there was like
double
a
hitter too. Right
yeah,
there.
like
Yeah.
back to back. Because I was thinking like, man, is Dixie Doug like a little maybe interested?
I'm so happy for
But
him.
no,
I'm
they
so
crushed it. They crushed me.
But that's what they kind of did. They like said, basically like, screw you to everyone in the beginning, and then gave them all a little redemption.
Yeah. And then what's the other thing? Oh yeah, Dimitri. Dimitri goes crazy. I love that Dimitri was like, I cannot kill this fish man.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have
I know the
Yeah,
Soviets
he's-
want me to do it. I know the United States government wants to do it, but I cannot kill this fish man.
Yeah, I was feeling like when they started following Dimitri,
Yeah.
like he was sitting on that block meeting those guys. I was like, I just want to see Fishman fuck.
Yeah.
Like that should be the main focus of this movie is Fishman and Fishman's wife.
Yeah.
And then when he's at that restaurant,
have a name, even though he just discussed her name. It's
Sorry.
gone now.
Fishman and Gummo. When he's in the restaurant whispering to that guy's ear, I was like, oh, I am so invested in this. I love Dimitri. And yeah, Dimitri's one of the best parts of this movie. He's
Every
great.
time they give the code, and he like in the first one, it's just windy as hell. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
it's a fucking code. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
It's great. I also really like, I don't know. I thought I'd have something by the time I finished that sentence, and I did.
They have him listed in the credits as the amphibian man. The amphibian.
Oh.
Abe Sapien.
Yeah. Whoa.
On the Amazon thing, when you paused it, it was cut off because it's too long, but it said his character's name was the man from the, and then a B ...
From the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Could be.
Anyways,
Bottom of the ocean.
bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Dimitri helps Eliza.
We're going straight to the end, pretty much. I mean, that's the last 45 minutes. That's literally the last 45 minutes.
That's half the movie, bud.
Yeah, we're going to half the movie.
What else did we miss?
There's a lot of green. It's turquoise.
It's true, there's a lot of green in this
I really
movie.
like that. That's a
Teal.
good color.
I read
Teal.
Teal.
Yeah,
I read a
Coupe de
little
Ville.
bit that he wanted to make this movie black and white at first because I was watching it. I was like, "There's got to be a black and white version of this movie," because you know me, I love black and white, and I if I'm horny for anything, it's black and white. And he originally wanted to do it in black and white, and the studio was like, "Cool, we'll give you like $12.5 million," and then they were like, "You know what? If you make it in color, we'll give you 19.5." He's like, "Okay, fine, I'll make it in color."
We love money. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of green.
Money is green.
Money.
Oh, he got him in the
Wow,
end.
he really did. He won that. He really did. He.
We said
But
Gummo
it,
is
it
art.
matches perfectly with like the water, you know.
Yeah,
like, the
it's-
creature.
Let's see. Yeah, it gets introduced. She's got this weird connection right off the fucking rip.
Right.
Goes,
Oh
"What's
yeah,
this
immediately.
tank? There's got to be something in there that I need to know about."
There's like a horny magnet inside this tank.
Yeah, and someone said, "I can smell her."
Yeah, he starts banging on the glass in there. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I love this little room that they keep him in.
That's
I'm
a
sure he
set.
does too.
That's a set. You love when the sets are made. You guys
Exactly.
Love
That's Donald. God, you got to be on every episode. That's maybe you shouldn't, because that's exactly what I was gonna say. But no, I love that how clearly like it looks like a set, but then you get adjusted to it after a while, and I love the reflection from the water up on the walls, like like in a pool and stuff like that, it'll be a like rippling like water effect on the wall. It is so clearly just a projector shooting that image up onto the wall, but it looks so good. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a video game room.
Yeah, it does.
It's like that, and it's like you go in. It's like Legos or something when you're looking for destructible things. You get coins from this.
That is an interesting thing. I never thought about like I've never genuinely thought about how like a video game ultimately at the end of the day has that same set effect because it's literally built just for it. Like so like if you look at the room long enough, you're just like, oh yeah, this is all kind of fake. This isn't real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then also when they give you an open world and you just go, this is my oyster.
Yeah, but it sucks because like sometimes like especially with like the Arkham Asylum games or something like that, or even like a Spider-Man game, the fact that I can't open every single window or door hurts. Like Grand Theft Auto, same thing. Like the only open world that I've genuinely been like, oh fuck with, even though it's small in scale and it pales in comparison to way more immersive games, it's got to be Skyrim because there is not a single door that you cannot open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And even if you can't open it in the beginning, there's a story.
There's a quest where eventually you'll be able to open it. Yeah,
There's everything.
I've never played another game where there's no barrier that I can't cross.
Oh yeah.
And that feels so good. Anyway, sorry.
You ever play a video game and like you're in a house or like in a house in Skyrim or something like that, and you're like looking around, and you're like, and it's like what you're, it's like pretty much what you're saying, but you think about like, oh yeah, somebody had to create this book that's thrown on the floor, and someone had to put this stuff on the counters, and someone had to put this refrigerator here, and you ever think about, oh damn, that's what we just be doing every day with
that's
our
what we
house.
do. Yeah, that's what we doing.
Yep.
Crazy, right? Crazy, right, man?
I was playing Phasmophobia with Danielle, Alex, and Elena, and you play in like houses and you like investigate, and it's a ghost hunt, and you can see the layout of the house, and Alex literally goes, I'm gonna make this into my house, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's like a really good idea. Like you could find your favorite house and you could find out, maybe not the dimensions, but you could scale it to your size, but you could find out a layout that you like from a game you like, and if you're a little nerd about it, you could be like that, but you could also just literally virtually tour a house that you might want. Like, I don't know, that's just cool.
Donnie, those are the kind of ideas that you don't talk about on the podcast.
What? Is it too innovational?
Yeah, you take it to an investor and you get money.
Cut that.
Virtual? They got to already be doing that, right? Like
They're
real estate agents doing virtual walkthroughs?
They do virtual tours already. They take pictures and then you get to put your camera from where that picture was taken.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what you're talking about.
I know, that's pretty sick.
What you're talking about is you've got a lot of money.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a developer build.
Okay, it's years later. You guys have this business exists.
Yeah.
I'm a very rich man, and I come to you guys and I go, "You seen Full House? Make me the Full House house. I want to live there."
Make me the Full House.
Make me Full House. The quote of the year.
So, what's that?
Good idea too. Fucking do a quote or like something.
So hard. You have to review every second of the podcast.
You write it down when you find something that's really funny. You just write it down in your notes. Cut that.
Write that down.
That's gonna be the quote of the year. The quote of the year is always gonna be cut that.
But you know what I really like about this movie?
What's that?
I think my biggest like point against it the first time I saw it was I think this movie. What's that?
That he's toned.
That he's so toned, and everyone.
He is.
Was that it was so horny, and I thought if they like all that shit felt so out of place. I was like, if that was gone and this was more romantic, I probably would have liked this quite a bit. But watching this time and thinking about it, it's a big man in a rubber suit monster movie, so some of it has to be gross and make you feel uncomfortable, and that's what the horny stuff's there for.
Yeah,
I guess it's kind of. don't want to say this because y'all are gonna make fun of me, but
It makes you more horny than you think is gross.
it's no. I was gonna say worse than that. It's kind of realistic.
Okay. Because what?
Because there's someone out there who wants to fuck a fish, man. There's someone out there that watches that movie and goes, I could jerk off to this. I mean, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
there are scenarios.
Yeah,
you know,
just-
like if you
Donald.
saw a real life. I didn't even finish.
Because you're about to propose. If I saw a real life fish person,
No,
would I fuck it?
Not fish person. Now let's go back to our last episode. You know that was on. If you saw maybe a World of Warcraft Draenei. All right, we're done with that. I thought you might have something you want to say.
This movie,
I'm just saying.
again, I'd like to do what I did earlier. I'd like to go back to something Donald said a moment ago. You said it's more realistic because there are people out there who see this and go, yeah, I'd like to fuck a fish, man. So it just made me picture Donald coming out of an Avengers movie or something like that and be like, this isn't what the people want. This isn't realistic. They want to see fucked up fish sex.
Disney ruins everything. Oh, I'm just saying. People would fuck. People have sex. It's a thing.
Yeah, well, how about
Hey,
this?
have you heard of this, Chris? People have sex. It's a thing.
Yeah, oh,
Do you know?
yeah, do I know?
Coming up at 5. Have you heard of this? Kids, they're having sex.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what sex is and have sex. Have you seen that graph of, like, knows what sex is and has sex or whatever?
No.
Like, yeah, like it's like the Rolling Stones would be like knows sex and has sex.
Oh, okay,
You know,
yeah. I know
that
what
kind
you
of thing.
mean.
Whereas like the
Quadrants,
Beatles,
yeah.
the Beatles know what sex is, but they don't fuck or whatever. Yeah. Anyways,
The Beatles had to fuck.
they fucked a lot. They fucked prostitutes mainly. That's what they spent a lot of their money on in the beginning when they were playing music in Germany. They were mainly spending their money on prostitutes and speed.
I would be.
really good over there.
If it was 1961 and I was in
Playing
Germany with
literally
nothing
every
and
night.
playing 8 hours a day, I'd be like, I'm
Making
buying
$40 a week. I'd be like,
speed and hookers, yeah.
yeah, definitely gonna buy amphetamines and I'm gonna have a bunch of sex with women of the night.
Wow.
Sorry,
Yeah.
said hooker.
But I think they're good looking enough. They didn't really have to buy the prostitutes.
Yeah, but they could.
Yeah, that's the thing is you don't.
They were teenagers.
The thing of it's not like a could I. It's a I just played. I
When
don't
in
want to
Rome.
go have to. I think that's the thing of the prostitute, isn't it? It's like I don't want to have to riz. I just want to bang.
But the playing is the risk. You think there'd be like people that are like, you play so good, give me your.
I don't know if they were
Hold on.
lady killing.
Give
at the
me
time.
your...
You be the fish man to my Eliza.
All right, go on. Yeah, that was good. You finished it.
Anyways, off the Beatles. Is there anything else to mention here?
Yeah, I like when Michael Shannon walks out when he first gets his fingers blown off. I thought this was gonna do a full flip and be like a horror movie, and then like end off with her calming. I didn't know she was gonna calm him down right away and fuck him right away. That was real quick, but
It was. It
was
It does
sexual
elevate.
Oh,
tension
yeah, that was the
right
thing.
away. But when he's
It
like,
was
walking
right
out,
away.
when he's walking
As soon as
out,
they're
Oh,
on
yeah.
screen together, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
they touch hands. They
Yeah.
really last like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she gives him an egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
She does this
of
thing where she
her
puts a hard-boiled egg
eggs.
in her mouth and a little bit of mayonnaise. She calls it a mayonnaise.
And yeah, she said that's also something that gets me about this movie is anytime in a movie or TV show or anything, somebody is like
Gross.
in a room where they shouldn't be or somewhere they shouldn't be, and then like they start spending a lot of time there because like, oh, I know when the guard shift is or blah blah blah, this and that. It always makes me so nervous.
Yeah.
And so the whole time she's putting the riz on the fish man, I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous.
Yeah, that is too peaceful. I think
Yeah.
I think that's something that draws me back. Can we talk negative? A little negative?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Too peaceful. Way too peaceful. Even when they get shot, when I see him get shot, I'm like, okay, he has healing powers. And then when I see her get shot, okay, he's got healing powers. That, whatever. But when he slashes his, I'm like, whoa, okay, that's cool. That's different. But the whole heist and stuff, the craziest part was the military police, and then, our boy Dimitri is sick as hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's the coolest part. Other than that, it's like, this is going off without a hitch. Kinda.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It really is working out well. But maybe that's the thing for her. She's kind of had such a probably rough upcoming.
Yeah, do you think this is the first sex she's ever had? Do you think she's only ever had fish sex?
That's a great question.
Hell yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. She is touching herself a whole lot.
There are...
And then the bald dude's worried about her sex life. Right off the rip, he goes, you just need to go get laid.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
There are two options. She's never had sex until Fishman. In Fishman sex,
There's no coming back from that. That's got to be the best.
Oh, it's really bad.
Oh.
But she doesn't know.
Ah.
She's only had sex with Fishman.
Yeah.
Or she's had sex before, and Fishman sex.
Is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
Do he got scales down there? Because he was shedding real bad.
That's a great question.
So what?
That's a great
what
question.
If she hasn't had sex and she goes, "This is what it feels like. I guess I'll suffer through
Hear me out.
for love."
Yeah, because
They
scales
say-
go in the opposite way.
Yeah.
They say that thing about like AIDS or HIV or whatever coming from having sex with a monkey or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you saying what if it was this?
Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You say monkey or gay people. Either one or the other. Who are you gonna fuck?
So you think fish maybe got something that they shouldn't be? You know what I'm saying?
Salmonella.
I don't think it was either. It was a monkey or it was gay people.
Let's look it up
think
right now.
I think the
what
theory
people
is
say.
somebody. I think it is somebody had sex with a monkey, and then got AIDS, and then had sex with a man, and because the first people to do it were gay, maybe then it got.
Wow, crazy
Could be
statement.
wrong there.
Maybe I wouldn't believe that because I.
Oh, what did I just said?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
just,
the guy who fucked the monkey's probably gay. So he fucked a dude.
well, I think it's better than what he's saying that it either originated in monkeys or just
Whoa.
Here's from the
biologically
CD
gay people
Hey, wait.
created
Wait.
AIDS inside of themselves.
From the CDC.gov, HIV infection in human came from a type of chimpanzee in Central Africa. Studies show that HIV may have jumped from chimpanzee to humans as far back as the late 1800s. The chimpanzee version of the virus is called simian immunodeficiency virus,
And
SIV.
cats have it too. FIV.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying what people at my work, which I work at a shop, so you can kind of expect what they're saying. They don't like AIDS and they don't like gay people, so they just go hand in hand.
I love both.
Oh yeah,
big
all
AIDS
power to
fan.
you. I
Yes, very pro AIDS.
yeah,
Uh,
I like that joke. That's a good bit.
What were we talking about before I had to bring up AIDS?
The Shape of Water.
We were talking about how they fuck. We were talking about how they fuck and if it's good or not.
Oh, correct.
Before that, if you want to know what the story we were talking about, it was the heist. I thought it was too peaceful.
Heist was good. I was on the edge of my seat.
No, you weren't. You were playing guitar.
Not then.
Have you heard this one? I don't know how it goes.
Yeah, this movie is very Amelie. It's very Iron Giant. It's very Bioshock. It's very Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's very Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Very Fablemans. I liked it. It was cute. I did like, you guys talked about it being horny, and I guess it's horny to a degree. It's a funny little bit.
Shut
But
up.
I thought it wasn't
It's
that.
so horny. It's
All we
horny to
talked
the
about
nth
was how
degree.
horny.
That's all we talked about.
I thought it was honestly a little cute. I liked it. I thought
It
these
was.
guys.
No,
yeah.
it's cute.
Those things aren't
Her
mutually
tap
exclusive.
dancing, her singing,
Yeah.
or just even if it rips off with her touching herself. So what? People fucking touch themselves. Get over it. It's cute seeing this is her routine.
It's cute
every
seeing a
day.
lady jerk off.
Well, that's not what I'm saying.
It kind of felt like it.
It's cute seeing her have a routine and be like, this is my life, and her with her friend. I think that's very adorable too. I
Yeah,
think.
they
think
seem like
he-
good friends. I like
think
these guys.
him with his pies and stuff and going to see Doug and that.
Very funny
shit
joke.
is-
Him putting the pie in the fridge, and there's a bunch of other pies because
Yeah.
he's there every day.
Yeah.
No.
So overall, I think good movie. I'm gonna give The Shape of Water, bada bing, bada bam. God, I'm gonna give it a B plus, but I really wish C was higher because water. But anyways, B plus.
Well, to quote the man,
Okay.
the movie rips off with a girl beating off.
So you're in. You're in.
I've just never heard
So-
anyone
Got my
say.
vote.
I've just never heard anyone say rips off.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It was.
I'm gonna say it for the rest of my life, Donald. I'm gonna be like, oh, this movie rips off with a car chase. It's insane.
That's gonna catch attention, right?
Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I part of me would like for Gummo to be put kind of close to something like Pink Flamingos, because I think the same thing about John Waters. Great director? I don't know, probably not. Artist? Undeniably. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, sorry. I just thought about that.
Donnie, I'd like to say something about The Godfather if we're just talking about movies we're not talking about right now.
He loves. So we both unanimously agree that we did not watch Godfather for this episode,
But,
we did watch Gummo.
anyways, continue.
Yeah, but we got done talking about Gummo a long time ago.
Yeah.
Damn, he hate Gummo.
What's your rating
For Gummo?
Yeah.
I would give it like an A.
Okay.
We already went through what?
No, what do you rate
Jump
Shape
back,
of Water?
Jump
I
back
meant
45 minutes.
Shape of Water, I meant.
I'm gonna give Shape of Water. I'm stuck between a B+ and an A-.
Okay. What are you giving Shape of Water?
I should have thought about this earlier. I'm so indecisive, dude. I want to ask you, but you already said what it is. B+, right? You said
Yeah, I said B+, and he said A-, B+.
B+. Yeah, so I just don't like. I hate animal deaths. That always turns me off. Like, I want to rank this up.
Which is so wild, because the rest of the movie turns me off.
Oh, okay. What? I never said that. I've never openly said that. Yeah, I'm horny watching
Yeah,
this.
you kinda
You're
did.
saying
You
a
did.
Oh, but
lot.
weird. You kind of just
You
did
did
into
a
a
lot.
microphone. Weird.
Bro, what the fuck?
Run it back, run it back.
My name is Timmy Turner, and I steal from my mom's purse. I do not steal from my mom's purse.
So I'm gonna rank it on a couple things.
I never said I was horny. I was horny.
I, Donald, have never said I was very horny watching Shape of Water.
Now I just can't say the word WASNT because you could also just jump that in there. There's many ways you could do this. I'm fucked. So I'm gonna rank it off a couple of things. I'm gonna go off of rewatchable. I'm gonna go off what Chris says. Did it do what it aimed to do? And then was it enjoyable? First, enjoyable. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was very enjoyable.
No.
Did it do what it aimed to do? Probably give it like 8 out of 10 because I'm gonna say you probably got some revision on this and was like, bro, you can't show a fish dick on screen, and he's like, all right, close the doors, make them flat, and then on rewatchability,
The dick doors, close them up, put it away.
Rewatchability, I'm gonna give it like a 7. So overall, I think I'm gonna go with the B+, A- range as well.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with B plus B range, just because animal death, man, I just hate it. I'm very adamant on that. Like in The Conjuring, when they just kill a dog. Why?
Yeah, they went with a very realistic approach to it too, because like I was imagining very comically that he would have the tail sticking out of his mouth, but no, homeboy just gobbled the head up, which he does have a tiny little mouth. So like, yeah, he'd take a bite, he'd probably get the head.
Yeah,
You know?
if they
He
wanted
got a
to be
tiny
funny,
little mouth.
the cat would be alive and still meowing, and it'd be like, meow, and then the tail would be
tail.
swimming out, and be like, get that out of there.
Yeah.
It'd be dripping.
Gloop. He
It
glooped
was
it out.
very realistic.
Yeah, it was.
Especially when he healed his hair follicles.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, but yeah, he can heal. Fish
Yeah.
Boy's a god.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
did
yeah.
like
Let's end on
part.
that tone.
I like
Let's
that
end on that
part.
note. Is
Oh, yeah, I
Fish Boy a god?
Didn't like that. I didn't like when Michael Shannon goes, you are a god, and then dies.
So you're saying he's not a god?
I don't care. That's what I'm getting at.
Well,
What
I
do you
think they
think?
were trying to aim up for that. Like that was the whole thing about him. I get that religion was, religion's a big thing, and anybody can be religious, so they could throw a religious character in here. But he was always talking about God, and then he literally stands face to face with something who just comes back from the dead,
Like Jesus Christ.
like Jesus Christ,
Our Lord and
It
Savior.
just didn't
But
take
way
3 days,
faster.
a lot quicker.
This is making me think. So
Oh,
if he's a god, right, then Elisa becomes...
A follower.
Not a name. Not a name.
Eliza.
Not only is it not her name, it's just not a name.
Elisa.
is like a Mother Mary-ish kind of character, right?
No,
No.
they fuck a lot. She is not the Virgin
Yeah,
Mary.
but no, come on. Let's be real for a moment. Virgin Mary.
I am.
Virgin Mary. If
Yeah,
God
for
exists,
real,
he
for real.
fucked that woman.
For real, for real.
And to quote my friend Kyle, quoting God, I made pussy, but I never had pussy. So that's what I think this movie actually is. It's God getting a little some.
Wow.
You-
God is not. If God's anything like Zeus, bro, God is fucking. That's it.
You think God came down to Mother Mary and was like, just kind of like stumbling around a bit. He was like, "You got any eggs around here? I don't know what I'm about."
Yeah, he was like, "Oh." He's making fish man.
Yeah, she was like, who are you? You're glowing.
And then he gets back home to the homies. He goes, "It's the dentist system. You get there, you make him think you're a dumb fish person."
Oh man.
See,
Fine.
she's mute, so I appear to her as a fish person. And then it's just Mac being like, what about the eggs? And he's like, forget about the eggs. The eggs aren't the important part. Anyway.
Fish system.
Chris, that's
Find
so good.
fish system. Find innocent sexual honey. That work?
All right.
Wait.
That was good. It was a wrap.
Good?
No, this last thing.
My god thing is I think he's more of like a Egyptian god, where it's he has his like followers and shit, and then there's like there's like the main god, and then he has like like disciples and shit. Doesn't Egyptian gods have
Demigods.
disciples and demigods and shit? So I feel like it's like that.
He's a lesser god, you're saying.
He is. Lesser god.
Oh, she is.
Well, he might be a lesser.
He's
god.
real god? No. He is a god? Yes?
He is a god. There are definitely others.
That's what
There
you're
has to
saying?
be
Okay.
others.
Yeah.
And she is now a lesser. Kind of like Bella. It's kind of some
Yeah.
Twilight shit there.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It reminds me of like very early Old Testament stuff. Straight up legitimately acknowledges like, hey, there are other gods, but you shall worship no gods above me. I'm the end all be all, bitch.
For real, for real.
Because one of the interesting things about religion is that
You can say bitch. They're fine with it.
they don't care. Yeah.
Wow.
But there was a point legitimately where even Judaism was not a monotheistic religion. It didn't just have one god. It slowly became that way over time. See.
Well, we probably want to stop there because we're a bunch of liberal trash can pussies, so we cannot have an input.
Yeah. And also, literally an idiot, so what I just said could even be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
make
pretty
sure
sure
you
it's
cut out
not.
all the stuff about where I think AIDS came from.
Oh, no. If you're going to keep that I'm horny for Fishman, you can keep that. It's staying.
That's just a little nugget for you. Yeah, I talked about taking
That's
a poop
just for
at
you at
National...
home if you need a new ringtone.
I talked about taking a poop in National Coney Island.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're allowed to cut. You can cut as much of this episode as you want.
I'm cutting nothing.
All right.
This is going to be raw,
This is going
uncut.
to be a long episode, dude.
How long is it?
We're at an hour and a half right now.
Oh, okay, well, let's wrap it up. Love you bunches. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, that's that, Mattress Man. That's what I say.
What is wrong with you today?
If you want more soup, follow us at I know the intro a lot better than the outro. I don't have anything.
Follow us on Facebook,
do the
Instagram,
intro.
and Twitter.
Why didn't I get to do the intro?
Okay, but real talk.
And until next time.
Episode's over. Just us boys.
It's not.
You're clear.
It's not because you moved the mic. You
Go ahead.
literally-
I moved the mic because I'm not talking into it anymore because we're not recording anymore. You're cleaning the fish tank. Fish person comes up. It's a lady. Big old rocket dogs. And it comes up over the edge.
Wait, what the fuck is a rocket dog?
Boobies.
Oh, okay.
And it comes up over the edge of it and just plops his rocket dogs down on the edge of the tank, and it says, "Suck on these fuckers."
You better have recorded that.
I did.
Okay, good, because that's definitely going to be one of those things that I'll be like, Dad, you got to listen after the credits. Yeah.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Uh,
Chris's dad said that. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No response.
Donald's dad
Chris,
said
you didn't have
that too.
response because I'm out this one. You sucking them fuckers?
Sucking them fuckers. I feel like I'm too much of a nervous Nelly. I'd be so worried about, like, man, should I be sucking on a fishy titty? You know? Should I be
Am I
doing
gonna
that?
get salmonella?
Yeah, just like biblically, medically, morally, you know, like the hierarchy of,
Because she is a god.
you know. But if there were a way that she could communicate to me, like, it's good, I'm a god.
That's
You're looking for consent.
That's something. Yeah, that's something
wow.
something I did like about this movie is he seems just intelligent enough to have consensual sex with her. Yeah.
That's good. Apparently they're gonna introduce consent into the new Little Mermaid. So
yeah, because that's the end all be all. Is this bestiality?
Yeah.
And that's okay?
No, is it? I don't know.
I'm torn. He's consigned, but monkeys can't. Bring it back.
No, that's for sure where it ends. If you need more soup, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or go to our website, eatingsoupalone.com. And until next time,